Hey y'all, Chris J here from class, and I spoke with Dr. McFarland about leading this week's discussion of the third and fourth movements of The Yellow House by Sarah Broom in just kind of a different way because I don't know about y'all, but I have burnt out a little bit on typing, and I feel like Moodle offers you all of this opportunity to do multimedia uploads and things like that, and to be more hypertextual and just to use different mediums. And I just wanted to try a different medium for this conversation. You all can respond however you like, including just typing in text. But I just wanted to do something different because, frankly, I've got psoriatic arthritis, to be honest with you, and my hands claw up when all I do is type. And I just wanted to try something different. So, with no further ado, and with Dr. McFarland's permission, I wanted to just share some of my thoughts about what we just read. I know I've talked a lot about Gothic horror and like haunted house books in this class, but it just gets more exciting to think about the Yellow House from that perspective in the third and fourth movements. And it's just a kind of a little appetizer for our discussion here, but on page 232, I clearly took some delight in the fact that Broom writes, "I was now the house." She feels herself becoming a part of the house. It is possessing her instead of it being a possession that she controls. She has been absorbed by the house. And that happens in a lot of haunted house texts, whether they're movies like or books, whether it's The Fall of House of Usher or even something more modern like Southern Gothic, like The Yellow Wallpaper or something like that. It's a wonderful short story if you haven't read it, but about sort of a person going mad and being absorbed by the home that they're in. And I really thought that it was chilling and powerful to hear her read her saying, "I was now the house" on page 232. I thought that was just such a crazy, powerful, economical, like 5 words that just sent chills up my spine. The creepiness keeps coming. Just a few pages later, there's an incident that really struck me, and I hope that one or two of you may have enjoyed it too, where they go back to the Yellow House site. Sarah takes a friend, and that friend digs up an old spoon with a fleur-de-lis on it. Do you remember this section? When I went back and read it a second time, it's pretty creepy. She keeps trying, it seems, to misplace or be rid of the spoon, but it keeps coming back to her. She leaves it in a car when she jumps out of the car, and the person tracks her down to give her back the spoon. She loses the spoon for 6 months in her apartment in Harlem, and it just shows up in the spoon drawer, a place that she never would have put it. I love this. She speaks to the spoon, and when she speaks, you can hear that she's actually talking about herself. It's really beautiful. She says, "No, you have not been misplaced. You do not belong in there with all of the others. You have not come from where they have come." And I just thought that was wild that she's clearly talking about her own sort of uprootedness, the fact that she is placeless, but she's talking about this like spoon that somehow keeps magically turning back up. It's a little bit spoopy, if you'll go with me on that. One thing that happens in the third and fourth movements of the book that really I was hoping we might be able to, or I was hoping to at least highlight and see if any of you felt that you noticed this as well. But the phrase New Orleans East, which is very much a made-up thing, very much something that was built by man, these billionaire investors that own the Dallas Cowboys who bought 44,000 contiguous acres outside of a city, which is wild, and decided to build their own community and call it New Orleans East. So as the third and fourth movements of this book progress, New Orleans East is truncated to just be the East. And that may have been happening in the first half of the book, but I notice it more in the second half of the book. There's an instance on page 273 where Broom writes, "There was no hospital in the East." Isn't that interesting? Like suddenly this really fake thing is totally usurped and overtaken something so elemental and natural and real as a direction on a compass. Also happens on page, let's see here, 331, The East was not too young for history. It was just that in the official story of New Orleans, its stories and people were relegated to the sidelines. I just thought it was super interesting that something as phony as New Orleans East, at least on a language level, usurps something as real and natural and inarguably present as, like I said, the direction that the sun rises in. Finally, and I am wrapping up, I won't keep you much longer, but I wanted to say it says a lot about Sarah Broom as a writer that she was able to take something as everyday and commonplace and seemingly like not that loaded with potential for literary power as mowing the yard and turn it into this like incredible coda for this powerful book. That's how the book wraps up. She mows the yard with her siblings. But for me, and it's a kind of a dark moment because there's that awful encounter with Poochie across the street, and there's some violence and some darkness there too. Um, but for me, there was something else happening there. All of them gathering again on that land, still on that land, mowing that grass. Yes, it was out of pride in a way to say, no, we didn't abandon this place. Look how well we keep it. We actually come back and trim the grass on this empty lot where our house once stood. We're not giving up on it. We're not abandoning it. And don't say that on TV. It's worth saving. So yes, there's that positive spin, but for me, and I bet you know where this is going, there is more gothic horror here. They can't get away. They keep being pulled back to this place. And the quote from the book that this mowing scene made me think about is on page 270, where she writes, "A house always insists on being kept." She's been pulled back to that house yet again, and she must serve it still, even though it's not there. I thought this book was, I mean, downright eerie, powerful. Y'all, please, I hope this video wasn't too stupid or long. I just wanted to do something other than write up, my thoughts. I wanted to share in a different way. So please let me know if any of these things caught your attention too. And again, thank you for being patient with me. I'm late getting started on this project on the boards because I decided to take the fall break to travel and see my spouse, who I haven't seen in several months since she moved to California. And we are trying this long distance relationship thing. So thank y'all for being patient with me. Oh, see you on the boards.